Well, hey, it's time for Ask the Tech Guys. I'm Leo Laporte. Coming up, we'll solve 60% of your computer problems.
And I'm Micah Sargent, and we answer the question, should you run Mac OS from a random Google Drive link given to you on the internet?
Then it's time for Scott Wilkinson's Home Theater of the Week. All coming up next on Ask the Tech Guys.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Ask the Tech Guys with Micah Sargent and Leo Laporte. Episode 2032, recorded Sunday, July 7th, 2024. My baby loves to boom boom. Well, hey, how are you today? There's Micah Sargent.
Hello, Leo Laporte.
And we are the Tech Guys. Which means you can call us right now and ask us a question.
If you dare.
Dare you?
I dare you.
I dare you. 888-724-2884 is the phone number.
There are also a couple other ways. You can email us, atg@twit.tv. If you email us with your text, then we will get a little printout of your message, and we'll try to answer it. Or you can send audio, video. Those also work. And the third way, which is to head to call.twit.tv on a mobile device or laptop or, I don't know, desktop PC. Can you do it on a PlayStation? Probably not.
You probably can.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Try it.
Brandon, what is his name?
Brandon?
Oh, it's gone already by.
Sorry.
It's scrolled off.
See you, Brandon.
Mr. Coulot says we're looking sharp.
Oh, how
But
kind.
he's probably because he noticed
you nice Runza socks.
my Runza socks.
I like the green, though. I'm digging the green.
It's the little sandwich with the terrible name.
The little sandwich that could.
But the delicious taste. And we're out of Runzas.
Runza's, the fresh maker. That was
There you go.
Yeah, I think that was the
Is
line.
that obvious what that is on my sock, or does it just look
Let
like
me see.
some
I'm going to try to pretend like
weird meat pillow?
I was going to say it looks like a dirty pillow.
Hot Pocket, maybe?
It's kind of a pocket? Hot pocket? Well, Runzas are like a hot pocket.
It also looks like a dirty loofah.
Dirty Loofah is the name of this show, oddly enough. I don't know how we knew ahead of time.
Oh, there you
Now,
go.
you can also stay tuned because Scott Wilkinsonian is going to be here. He is our home theater geek.
And you can stay tuned even longer because Johnny Jett is going to be here. He's our traveling geek.
So there's a lot of goodness ahead
Yummy,
today
yummy.
on Ask the Tech Guys. According to Google, in a new research paper, AI potentially breaking reality is a feature, not a bug.
Breaking reality. Okay. Why? How? And doesn't Google do AI?
The paper, Generative AI Misuse, a taxonomy of tactics and insights from real-world data, co-authored by researchers at Google's Artificial Intelligence Research Lab, DeepMind, which sounds a lot like Skynet. By the way, thanks to 404 Media for this story. Says AI, Google's research focuses on real harm that generative AI is currently causing and could get worse in the future. But don't worry, because it's supposed key and novel patterns in Gen AI misuse, including potential motivation strategies and how attackers leverage and abuse systems across modalities in an uncontrolled environment. And we find that most reported cases of misuse involve actors exploiting the capabilities rather than launching direct attacks at the models themselves. Yeah. They prompt something or other.
Prompt engineering is that what you're
Prompt
talking
engineering. The widespread availability, accessibility, and hyperrealism of Gen AI outputs across modalities. Can you tell us this is an academic paper?
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the problem with this. It needs to be translated into human speak.
Has also enabled new lower-level forms of misuse that blur the lines between authentic presentation and deception. I don't even know.
Essentially, what they're saying is, instead of trying to hack a generative AI system itself, people are using generative AI systems to do other things. So the most common form of misuse is impersonating someone or something else.
Funny that you should say that. I was just launching 11 Labs' new reading app.
Uh-huh.
Where they have apparently signed a deal with Judy Garland's estate, Sir Laurence Olivier's estate, James Dean's estate, and Burt Reynolds' estate to
James
provide
Dean?
iconic voices. Would you like to hear an iconic voice?
Oh, I would love to hear James Dean.
Oh, I was going to play Burt Reynolds.
Okay. Burt
James
Reynolds
Dean's all right. James Dean's all right, but not particularly interesting here. I'll play a little sample.
If a man can bridge the gap between life and death, if he can live after he's died, then maybe he was a great man.
That's a nice voice.
Yeah.
Does it sound like James Dean? I don't even hear. Does it sound like Burt Reynolds?
For the good old American life.
Yeah.
For the money, for the glory, and for the fun.
Yeah.
Mostly for the money.
I think that's pretty good. Judy Garland's a little weird. They say, imagine listening to The Wizard of Oz read by the dead
really
voice
cool.
of Judy Garland.
That would be
Once
really
upon
cool.
a time, in a land far, far away, there was a beautiful young girl who had become lost while traveling.
That's wonderful.
What do you think?
Okay. I like the idea, of having a book read by someone that was involved with the process in some way. If the estate gives, permission.
They did. They sold it. Yeah.
Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. By Arthur Conan Doyle.
He's at Aussie reading this. I don't know why the Aussie's reading Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
She is always the woman.
But this is 11 Labs,
Seldom heard
which
him mention her under any other name. In his eyes.
that's an AI reading it. I think that's
actually
pretty good.
very good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mentioned this because 11 Labs is who does my voice,
Oh, that's right.
They're very, very good.
Now, with that, does that mean that I could take, say, an article on a website and I'm
Have Laurence Olivier read it.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Basically, if I'm trying to get to work,
yes.
and I need to get through this article, I could play it and
Yes.
have Laurence Olivier read it.
In other exciting news, amateur mathematicians have found the fifth busy beaver. I don't really know. If this is really more interest to mathematicians than even computer scientists.
What's a busy beaver? Maybe we should start there.
So, computations limits. Okay, this is from Quanta Magazine. By the way, I agree, Quanta. You keep those cookies. I hate that thing. I hate the cookie thing. So, once upon a time, over 40 years ago, a horde of computer scientists descended on the West German city of Dortmund. They were competing to catch an elusive quarry. Only 4 of its kind had ever been captured. Over 100 competitors dragged in the strangest creatures they could find, but they still fell short. The idea is to write a computer program, not like a normal one, but it is computationally very difficult. The Busy Beaver Challenge. Maybe we should go to the website so you can kind of understand what I'm talking about. There is, forget it. I don't even understand it. But it's something very hard to do. And
hey, it's a really cool
thing. They had the first 4 for a long time, like 40 years, and all of a sudden, just the other day, somebody found Busy Beaver number 5.
Okay, so it's very difficult
It's
to
like calculating
find
pi,
a
the
busy
digits
beaver.
of pi.
Because they're simple programs,
Yeah.
but they take a long time to solve.
In case you care, the Busy Beaver 5 is 47,176,870.
It's kind of like the fat bear, but nothing like the fat bear.
Like Fancy Bear?
No, remember the competition that takes place every year where they try to where the fattest bear ends up winning.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You know what I'm talking about?
This one is a Turing machine, which is the simplest kind of computer, and it's given an input, and then it has to crank for a long, long time. And I don't know. There's not. It's what did I say at the beginning of the show? There was no news.
I did say that.
I think I did say that. I am searching, folks.
The Busy Beaver.
Cloudflare has launched a tool to combat AI bots.
And this is different from just saying, "Hey, AI bots, would you please don't go on my site.
Here.
Hey, don't come here."
You can use something. Actually, this has been around on the web forever. Robots.txt, which is a text file on your root directory that says, "Hey, Google, don't index these pages, or don't index this part of my site, or whatever." It's long been honored by search engine spiders crawling around indexing the web. They want to add additional commands to say, or this has been proposed, don't search this for AI, but not everybody honors it. As Cloudflare points out, not all AI scrapers, the bots, scrapers, and crawlers honor the robots.txt, so they're going to do something else, which will, an easy button, they say, to block all AI bots. So if you are a Cloudflare customer, even on the free tier, this you could add to your website if you wanted to keep. I think this is smart of them, and I think it'll work quite well. By the way, Cloudflare's customers preferred to block AI 85%.
Wow.
Only 10% allowed them.
I'm looking forward to hearing this conversation on This Week in Google.
Okay.
You know why? Because it's going to be a right to read argument versus a technological argument. From
somebody said, was it Sam Altman? You don't want an AI that's trained only on public domain materials. And it was the head of Google's AI, Suleiman, who said, OpenAI, Suleiman. Who is it? Microsoft, sorry. One of them. Microsoft's AI head, Suleiman, said, yeah, anything that I can read is basically open, is public domain, and my AI should be able to read it. Any page you read on the web. There's a point to that argument.
Right, definitely.
It's not exactly like the AI is taking an article from the New York Times and publishing it, which happens, by the way, all the time, as Jeff Jarvis is quick to point out. It's chewing it up so it can use it in its predictive engine.
The worst thing, I think, would be AI having to use AI-generated content to train itself on AI. You know, if we get to that point where there's not any information for it to use because everyone's blocking, now suddenly it's all just trained on junk that it itself is generating.
Yeah. Okay, one last story. Saudi Arabia wants to be the home of eSports. They have a bigger prize pot than the Professional Golf Association.
Wow. The
PGA Tour prize pool for the eSports World Cup of $60 million. Dang, and my mom said I'd never make a living playing video games. Some say this is, of course, greenwashing, where you become famous. They've done this with golf, with Live. You spend enough money. Oh, I have to log into my Bloomberg account to read this, but you get the idea. Look at this. This is one of three main arenas.
Setup.
Yeah. What's the big game? Look at that. It's got a Kit Kat as a sponsor, or is that something else? I don't know. It looks like a Kit Kat. What are the big games? Is it League of Legends? Anthony Nielsen, do you know?
I mean, probably League of Legends are kind of.
But Benito knew.
Yeah.
He knows that kind of thing. Maybe when he gets in later, we can ask him. Mobies. Anyway, that's the news.
Good.
Nothing.
Good news, everyone.
A lot of AI though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always is.
Actually, good news for us. YouTube has released a tool to erase copyright music from videos. It hears the voice. That's okay. Everything else is okay. You know how sometimes a mom will post a video of their baby doing something really cute, and in the background, Beyonce is playing, and then Beyonce's people said, hey, take that down, or I want to monetize it. And so now you can post that cute video of your baby, and YouTube has a tool that will erase the song.
That's nice.
It let creators silence copyright music in the content. I haven't tried it. We'll have to try it.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah. All right. If you listen right now, Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire is playing.
Oh, love this.
Burn, burn, burn. And Anthony Nielsen has magically removed it by the time we publish this show. That's how well it works.
We're lying to you.
We're lying. There's no Ring of Fire.
But that's interesting because that's actually been a technique in the past used by people who are trying to keep someone from posting something. They'll blast a song in the background.
Oh, yeah.
And
police were doing that.
Yeah.
Well, when you were recording the police, they would make sure that they had something copyrighted playing.
So that then it couldn't get kind of distributed on YouTube or whatever. Yeah.
All right. Now, I think, would be an excellent time for us to become the tech guys magically and answer some magical questions.
I am transformed.
How do you answer that? How do you ask those questions? Let's just give them one more time.
888-724-2884 is the phone number you can call. When you do call, please, if you are asked to join us, hit star or asterisk 6 to unmute yourself.
That's really important.
You'll be muted by default. You can also reach out, call.twit.tv, or by emailing us atg@twit.tv.
And the Home Theater Geek coming up in about half an hour. But first, and before we get to your calls, a word from CashFly. Because CashFly literally, quite literally, brings you this show and all the shows we do. They're our CDN, our content delivery network. For over 20 years, CashFly has held the track record for high-performing, ultra-reliable content delivery, serving over 5,000 companies in over 80 countries. And we know this because CashFly came to our rescue in the earliest days of Twit, when we were desperately trying to make it possible for hundreds of thousands of people to download our shows. Matt Levine at CashFly said, we can help, and we've been a customer ever since. We love CashFly. Their lag-free video loading, their hyper-fast downloads, friction-free site interactions. CashFly is the only CDN, content delivery network, built for throughput, ultra-low latency video streaming. Delivers video with less than 1 second latency to over 1 million concurrent users. Lightning fast gaming delivers downloads faster with zero lag, glitches, or outages. And by the way, because CashFly is a global enterprise, no matter what country your listeners or viewers or users or gamers are in, it works better for them because it's closer to them. Oh, if you've got a site with images, mobile content optimization offers automatic, simple image optimization so your site loads faster on any size screen. Flexible month-to-month billing was a boon for us as long as we needed it. And then once we figured out our peaks and valleys, we were able to get discounts for fixed terms. You will too. The point is you design your own contract when you switch to CashFly. CashFly delivers rich media content up to 158% faster than other major CDNs and allows you to shield your site content in their cloud. We do that, which means no more empty caches, 100% cache hit ratio. And with CashFly's elite managed packages, you get the VIP treatment. Your dedicated account manager will be with you from day one, ensuring a smooth implementation, and then you get reliable 24/7 support whenever you need it. I have to say, we never need it because it just works. It's so great. Learn how you can get your first month free at cashfly.com/twit. You've heard me say it so many times over the last 20 years. Bandwidth for Ask the Tech Guys is provided by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com/twit. Thank you, CashFly. Now, Anthony Nielsen filling in for John Ashley, who's on vacation.
Yep.
Who should we start the show with?
We do have a call from Martin.
Martin.
On the line.
Hello, Martin.
Hello, Leo. It's Martin, by the way.
Oh, nice to see you. Welcome. Are you in the hospital?
Yes, I am.
I'm sorry. I hope you're feeling better.
I'll have heart bypass surgery on Thursday.
Yikes.
Oh, my word.
Well, you know what? From all the people I know who've had it, you will be feeling better a few days later. It makes a huge difference. Yeah. So good luck.
On June 27th, I was riding my bike up a hill, and my heart decided to stop.
Oh, man.
My word.
You thought, I'm going to stay in shape.
I am in shape. I've done 4,200 kilometers this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But, you know, this is the problem with heart disease. It can also be genetic, not merely lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I hope you feel better Thursday. I hope it all goes well for you. And hang in there. What can we do for you today?
Well, Leo, I'm calling about what to do with my Drobo Mini.
Oh, dear.
I don't know what to replace it with.
I feel so guilty. Did you buy it because of us?
Yes.
By the way, if it makes you feel any better, I still have a Drobo Mini myself. Drobo, unfortunately, went out of business.
Yeah. So do I replace it with cloud backups, another NAS, or
well, let me ask
recommend?
you what you used it for. Are you a photographer? What were you using it for?
No, I used it to time machine 8 different computers.
Okay. Wow, nice.
Wow.
So you were using
I do the run of the family.
Were you using it on a network, or were you using it as a USB drive?
USB. It doesn't work on the network
know.
anymore.
So you go from machine to machine and back up.
Yeah, well, I go to the family. I go from house to house with it, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Wow, aren't you a nice guy?
Yeah.
Well, every family has a tech geek, you know.
You're the one.
I'm it. Yeah.
So really, all the Drobo Mini was is a giant USB drive, and there are lots of ways to replace that. It might be time to look at a NAS, however, if that's the main purpose of it. Network attached storage, you don't... Oh, what's that?
This is a USB drive. It's not a USB key. It's a SSD drive.
How big is it?
It's not a... It's big like a USB key.
No, I mean capacity.
Oh, it's 1 terabyte. I'm sorry. It's 1 terabyte.
How big is that? It looks giant.
Yeah, it's 1 terabyte.
Yeah, so is that enough?
Well, that's enough for 2 computers, for 2 Macs.
Okay. The thing about Time Machine ideally is it's always running. So ideally, each of your family members, you'd get them one of those. Or better yet, I mean, I keep a USB drive plugged into my Mac.
Same.
When you do, the first time you do that.
It's an off-site backup.
Yeah, that's on-site.
Yeah, and you want it.
I see. And you were taking it with you, so on your bicycle. So now that is off-site.
Exactly.
Going up the hill. Boy, you are a nice guy to do that for your family.
Thank you.
Honestly, let's save you some trouble. And I think what I would do, I don't know what you do. I think you do the same thing, which is have Time Machine as your immediate local backup. So, oh gosh, I didn't mean to change that file, or I didn't mean to delete that file. It's there in Time Machine. But then you still have offsite, right?
Yeah, I use Backblaze personally.
Yeah.
And the great thing,
that was my second question.
Yeah, the great thing about it is it's pretty much a run in the background. No one has to think about it kind of setup. I very rarely have ever had, troubleshooting stuff. So you wouldn't have to bike over to the family too often to, make corrections to the system once it was set up. And it's pretty cost effective as well. I think it's $6 a year per device or something. I can't remember. It's really cost effective.
Okay.
And that works for me as the drive I have plugged into the device, the Mac Studio that I have at home, as the local backup over Time Machine, and then that offsite backup to Backblaze. The first time you run it, of course, takes a while, but after that, then it's good.
Yeah, all cloud backups that way. It's very slow initially. How many family members? 6?
7. 7, but 4 in the same house.
Okay, that makes it a little easier. So so in the same house, I use a NAS, a Synology NAS at home. And so I back up Time Machine on a local USB drive, and then I back up to the Synology NAS. And then for the way I do cloud is I have a Synology NAS here. And when we close the studio, I'm going to have to solve this same problem, because I won't have the off-site. So my home NAS is backing up to the NAS here, which gives me off-site. I like not having to use a cloud service, but the upfront cost on buying a network-attached storage unit is much higher. In fact, at $8 a year, what is it?
Yeah, I think it's more than that. It
can't be $8 a year.
Yeah, I'm misremembering. I think it's $9 a month.
That sounds better.
A year, yeah.
But even then, that's $108 a year. A NAS is going to cost you $600 for the box, and then you have to put the drives in. Usually it's around $1,000 at least. So you're saving money by using Backblaze. The disadvantage is it has to use your network. It has to upload. It's going to be slower to download and all of that stuff. With a NAS, you've got it all there. It's a really interesting question.
Yeah, especially because you had a system leading up to this.
The Drobo still works, right?
The Drobo still works.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine whose power brick stopped working.
Yeah.
And it was awfully complicated to get a new one and solder in the plug.
Yeah, because they have a proprietary, they have a locking plug, which is, of course, proprietary. Yeah.
Yeah. But now that we know how to fix the power brick, and that would be less of a hassle, but still.
Honestly, I gave my Drobo Mini to Goodwill, which kind of is mean. Because somebody's going to buy it. I hope whoever buys it says, I know what to do with this.
Yeah, they'll have something to do with it.
but they went out of business, and so I gave mine away, and I just use, since you're a Mac guy, I use Otherworld Computing for a lot of this stuff. If you go to
Even
Mac,
for their NASs?
I don't do their NASs, but I do their giant USB drives. I have a couple of RAID drives from them that are giant. Let's see, Thunderbolt drives. Depends on how modern a Mac you want. But I have one. I mean, some of these are very expensive as well. Like, look at that. They have some that are SSD based. So I have this little sucker, the Express 4M2. You put 4 M.2 cards in there, which means you can have, if each is 2 terabytes, that's 8 terabytes. I think I have 4 1 terabyte. Those are fairly inexpensive now. And that's Thunderbolt. It uses soft RAID, so you can make it so it's redundant. So it's like it's not a NAS in the sense that it has an operating system or it can run any apps. That's the nice thing about a Synology. It's actually a computer running its own operating system and can run extra apps like Home Assistant and stuff like that, Plex. But for just a little high, kind of to replace the Drobo with a fast, and by the way, this is a lot smaller than a Drobo Mini and a lot easier to carry in your backpack as you bicycle from house to house. So, I mean, honestly, at this point, I hate to say this, but you probably want to not have them be dependent on you, right?
Yes and no. It's awfully nice when you're sick to have family members that owe you stuff.
That's thinking. Now you're using your noggin. I mean, the ideal thing would be to provide each of them with an external hard drive they can use Time Machine on. And then if for the people that all live in the same house, that would be
they
fairly...
won't plug it in. That's the problem.
Oh,
I have 2 nieces that use the same password everywhere, 0 security knowledge.
Got
and
it.
when you try to speak to them about it, they don't get it.
I understand. My dad, who's now 91, I asked him once, how do you back up? He said, every once in a while I put a thumb drive in there and I copy some files.
That's even more than some people do.
He has no plan at all. Fortunately, never lost any data, but...
it often takes losing data that one time to make you go, oh, I need to do
He's very
this.
proud. All of his papers are now at the University of Oklahoma. He's a geologist.
Oh, cool.
So they have a historical geology library, and all of his papers, all of his notes and everything are now stored at the University of Oklahoma. So he doesn't have to worry anymore about backup. He was very proud of that. That was a real honor. The reason that we're fumbling around is there are a million ways to do this.
There's so many ways.
There's no limit to how many ways to do this. I'm just trying to think of what would be the easiest for you and the best for your family. Sounds like you really do want to take care of your daughter and your friends. Yeah. So I don't want you bicycling around with a drive, but if you had to, this is faster, bigger, and it does everything because the Drobo was just really, let's face it, a fast USB drive that was using Drobo's own RAID. They had their own custom version of RAID, which at the time was really cool. This just uses soft RAID or uses Apple's RAID. I actually don't even install RAID. I just use Apple's very simple RAID. So it's 4 drives. You could make it striped or you could make it mirrored depending on what you're looking for, speed or reliability.
The Drobo you could upgrade on the fly.
Yeah.
That was great. I have 4 2 terabyte SSDs in it right now. And it's great. I loved it.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have to
why
power
they went
it
out
down.
of business. Private equity.
Pop it. Yeah.
Damn
Is
private
that what
equity.
happened?
Once again.
They were struggling, though. But yeah, there's no reason they had to go out of business. You're right. Somebody bought them and scrapped them, sold them off for parts, which is too bad. It's too bad. So the most complicated, expensive solution would be a NAS. And by the way, you could set it up that they're backing up from their houses. You're the cloud. I'm the cloud now. and they're backing up to your house. Even the people who are remote, you could do that with a Synology NAS.
Hey, that's nice. That's a good idea.
Yeah, and give them Time Machine for local, and then they could automatically back up to you. And then if something goes wrong, you go, yeah, I got it right here. I'm secure. I'm taking care of it. So,
well, thank you, Leo.
Yeah, I hope everything goes well on Thursday. God bless.
Wish you the best.
Don't worry. here in Quebec, we have universal health care. So everything's taken care of. There's no worries about that. The doctors are great. The nurses are great. Everybody's great. And
Just
I
rub it
sure
in.
wish that you guys would get universal
Rub it
health
in.
care. It's the greatest invention there ever was.
You know, Rene Ritchie, who is in Montreal, told me that one of the reasons he could quit his editorial jobs, writing for magazines, and do his own thing, become an independent YouTuber, is because he didn't have to worry about healthcare. It's too bad that here in the United States, healthcare is tied to your employer.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're not, then you're really out of
It's
luck.
really expensive.
But it means you have to you have to keep a job, and you have to, it's just, and your employer gets to choose what kind of healthcare you have and all that. There are negatives to national healthcare too, but I'm glad that you're being well taken care of. That's really great. And stay safe. God bless. Good luck on Thursday.
Thank you.
Call us back when because you're going to be feeling better now because all the blood's pumping. All the blood's doing its thing now.
It's the first time I called, and I've listened to every tweet and every Security Now. Steve Gibson is great.
Oh, thank you.
Gibson is awesome. Yes.
Thank you. Yes, Steve is the best.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
It's a very good. I would do 2 shows with his show. One with the news and one with the subject of the week. So it would be easier to manage the listening,
That's a great idea.
Those
we'll see
those 2-hour podcasts are really long.
We just barely got Steve to do more podcasts after 999, episode 999. Now you want me to talk him into 2. But honestly.
No, well, you do it. You do it in the studio.
Oh, you should say I should. So which would Steve do? Steve would do the news?
Well, we would do the news with you.
Yeah.
In the first part.
Yeah.
And then you decide when the second part starts and you do the subject of the week.
Steve, that's a great idea. So just the same show, but just divide it up.
Yeah.
Or you could just press the pause button.
Ding, ding.
Yeah, but that's complicated.
Hey, I'm so thrilled that you're listening. I wish you the best. Take care of yourself. And
Thank you.
We will see you in a few weeks when you're feeling better.
Okay, good. Thank you, Michael.
Bye-bye.
See you
Thank
next
you.
time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, that's so great. Isn't that, here there he is in the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm going to undergo major surgery in a few days, and he's worried about backup for his family. That's
amazing.
That's somebody who cares. That's somebody who cares. Both of us do local and offsite. That's the 3-2-1 thing. We're 3 different kinds of backup, 3 copies of everything, I should say, 2 different kinds of backup, and 1 offsite. So we have 3 copies of everything. You have the original, you have the time machine, and you have the backblaze. There's 2 different kinds. One's on a hard drive and one's in the cloud. And you solve that offsite one with the cloud. That's what photographers do to say, because, if you're a wedding, and this was, by the way, Peter Krogh, who's a good friend and a great photographer, came up with this. And if you're a wedding photographer, you can't afford to lose those pictures, They're not gonna stage the wedding a second time.
Yeah,
just
you
for you.
literally cannot lose those photos.
Can we do that again?
Take it from the top.
I lost all the pictures. No, you can't. So they're very careful about backing up. Honestly, I have another method I use, which actually might work for him. Mm-hmm. I use the program SyncThing. Steve Gibson also uses it. It's a free open source program that will synchronize computers, and they don't have to be on the same premise. SyncThing.net.
Did you talk about SyncThing on
with Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a weird problem.
Okay, so it wasn't anything scary.
No.
Because I know I caught the part where you were like, oh gosh, SyncThing, but I didn't get to see that,
he scared me.
Yeah.
I haven't had this. It was getting very slow, but that's because he was the relay. It was something
weird. Okay.
But you can do SyncThing across different households. So every member of your family, in fact, this works with Synology. This is probably what I would do if I got the Synology. I run SyncThing on my Synology, and all my machines, this machine, every machine I have, synchronizes the documents folder, all the critical folders. So I have an identical copy everywhere. And then on my NAS, I have a read but don't erase version. So even if I erase a file here and it'll get erased everywhere else, it gets preserved on the NAS. That's the backup version. So that way you have it's copies of everything everywhere, more than 3 copies of everything everywhere, plus the offsite. I never worry about losing my data. I really don't.
Yeah.
I like SyncThing a lot. All right. What do we do now, Anthony Nielsen? We got a little more time before Scott.
Yeah.
Like
Do you wanna
6
try to
minutes?
do one more call?
Either that or
I
we
could
go
knock
to the
over
emails while
Let's
you're
do an
while
email.
you're reaching.
My elbow knocked my water. I have a stack here in my hands of all the emails we have received in the last few minutes. Moving from Windows to Mac? Question mark. What? Richard says, hi, Leo and Mike. I've been a long-time listener, recent Club Twit member. Thank you. In Tokyo. Yes.
Whoa, thank you.
Moved to Tokyo from Silicon Valley about 6 or 7 years ago.
Jealous.
Now, I know. I love Tokyo. Now considering whether to buy a Mac Mini, a new framework laptop, or a Windows desktop. My Windows 10 laptop is 6 years old, not Windows 11 compatible. In other words, it's time to get a new computer. Now, as we always do, we say, well, what are you going to use it for?
Exactly.
I have a large video collection, 90 terabytes, and will be constantly adding to it. Of course, if I move to Mac OS, the issue becomes, do I need to convert all my hard drives to Mac OS, HFS, or APFS from NTFS? No, the Macs will read
NTFS
that.
is fine, yeah.
I'll be reading and writing. Writing's a little tricky, right?
Yeah.
To my existing NTFS disks. Should any new disks be APFS? I prefer APFS, the Apple file system, the new file system. Both NTFS and Apple APFS are modern.
Yeah.
He says exFAT sounds like it might be a good compromise. It is.
exFAT is what
It's old.
Yeah.
I also use hard links, and that's only supported on NTFS.
Ooh.
I also have an Intel NUC, which is connected to the TV and hosts Plex and Kodi. Okay, we have a solution for all of this. What platform do you recommend? What I would recommend is to get a NAS and move all of that 90 terabytes onto a NAS. That's where it belongs properly, not on external hard drives.
Yep.
The NAS will be redundant. If a drive fails, you don't lose your data. It also will serve it because you can run Plex and Kodi on your NAS. It also will do conversions for different things because you can run Plex on everything, on your Apple TV, on your laptops, on Samsung TVs, everywhere, on Android. So, you already know this. You're already using Plex. Plex will run on a Synology NAS. Put everything on there. Plex will use that. It becomes your media server. That's the better way to handle this. And then you don't have to. Then you don't worry about what the client is. You can get Windows if you want. You can get Mac if you want, because you're not storing it on a PC. You're not storing it on an external hard drive. You're storing it on a network attached storage, which is visible to everywhere in the network. And then you could choose. I think Framework's great. You could run Linux or Windows on that. I'm not a Windows fan, as you know. You like Windows a little better than I do, I think.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
I like it. Honestly, I'll be perfectly honest. I like it less the more time goes on.
Yeah, because they keep putting ads and things.
And
it
it just
and a lot of
I just want to open the laptop and get going.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just slow and it's.
I think the real solution is, don't worry. You're going to get a new computer. That's fine. But before you do that, get a NAS.
I agree.
And take everything off of those hard drives. Put it on a NAS where it's going to be safer. You can run Plex on it. Synology makes very nice NASs that run Plex quite well. All right, one more. Oh, it's back again, and this is very similar from Jeremy. Tech guys.
Yes.
I hope you can provide some information on backing up a Mac to the cloud. My daughter's heading off to college this fall, has a MacBook Air. This is a good time to think about backup, because I guarantee you, halfway through the year, you're going to get a call. Daddy, I lost my paper.
Yep. Where's the PowerPoint?
We're looking for a simple cloud backup solution that has versioning. Ideally, it would be a client install that would monitor file changes, upload those changes to the cloud. Easy interface, restore different versions of files. She's not very computer literate. I want her college files backed up without interaction with a simple. Can Backblaze solve that?
Backblaze does versioning, up to a year of versioning.
Now, what about iCloud?
So iCloud, yes. If you're using iCloud's applications, so if you're using Pages, if you're using Keynote, if you're using
even if you use Word, if you have your Documents folder automatically backing up to iCloud,
yes, but
you'll be all right, right?
I don't know if that Documents folder is not going to be versioned.
Versioning.
Yeah. So that part is would be the problem there. That is where Backblaze would help, but also that's where Time Machine, I know it would be local, but a mixture again of Time Machine and Backblaze together is going to give you your best bet.
That's ideal.
Yeah.
So you just get a little external hard drive. that's USB that she keeps plugged in. Whenever she comes back from class, she plugs in.
That was the best graduation gift I got in high school. At the end of high school was a drive that I took with me to college that I did my local backup. Yeah.
You know, really the ideal solution would be a dock with a monitor, maybe. Okay, depends how you want to splurge. So that when she gets back with her MacBook Air, she plugs it into the dock. The dock has a hard drive and a monitor plugged in, keyboard, mouse. Now she's got a desktop.
It's funny that you mentioned that because that's literally what ended up happening for me. At the time, it was the Thunderbolt display that was before the new one. And so, yeah, I'd come home from class, I'd put it on to charge, and then I had that display and the keyboard and the mouse, and then there was USB into the back to that hard drive. And so it automatically did the Time Machine backup right there.
Do you have a dock that you like for Mac OS?
Just
I use
a dock.
A variety of them.
Would be CalDigit is
one
my
I
favorite.
use. It's expensive.
It's expensive.
It's very nice.
Anchor also makes a good dock, and that's more if you're wanting to use HDMI instead of DisplayPort. So DisplayPort and I think higher quality go CalDigit, HDMI, and a little bit more cost effective go Anchor.
The nice thing about these is you get to she is a single cable. She unplugs the MacBook Air. Now it's a portable computer, but the minute she plugs it in, it's backing everything up.
Going.
Time Machine's running. She's got a screen, keyboard, and mouse. I think if you can afford the extra cost, because that is going to be a few $100 more, I think that's a good way to do it.
If you go with Anchor, though, make sure you get the Thunderbolt versus USB.
Yeah, USB-C versus Thunderbolt. Yeah. And you also have to think about the monitor and whether it's HDMI or DisplayPort, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I use the CalDigit with DisplayPort on my giant 55-inch OLED monitor, and it's quite nice. It's quite pretty. All right. We're going to take a little break, and then guess what? It's our home theater geek. Get ready. Scott Wilkinson coming up. You're watching Ask the Tech Guys. Micah Sargent on your left. I'm on your right. I'm Leo Laporte. Ask the Tech Guys continues with our home theater geek, Scott Wilkinsonian. Hello, Santa Cruz.
Hello, Scott.
Hey, Micah. Hey, Leo. How you guys doing?
Do you remember the Wilkinson sword blade?
Oh, I remember them well.
I don't know if I guess they're still around. I mean, Gillette owns and Schick own the world now, but for years as a kid, Wilkinson would do these ads about their amazing Wilkinson sword blades, a British brand for razors, now owned by Edgewell, unfortunately.
I often tell people old enough to know, Wilkinson, like the sword blades.
Yeah, not anymore. They would go, huh? What?
And they'd go, huh?
What?
And I'd say, if I was really a member of that family, I wouldn't have a beard.
Yes. Besides guns, the Wilkinson company produced swords, bayonets, typewriters, garden shears, scissors, and motorcycles.
They did it all.
Oh, wow.
Wow, is right.
Wilkinson, like the motorcycles.
Motorcycle. I like that.
Yeah, that's what you should say. Like the Wilkinson motorcycle. So
Even
Scott,
fewer people would know that.
Scott joins us every month, I should say, to talk about TVs and home theater. I just I haven't installed it yet, but I'm excited. The Samsung Frame TV, which we were
very
talking about.
nice.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that looks. But the idea
it comes
is
with a variety of frames, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we're getting this. It comes with there are 4 different choices on frames. We're just getting a simple black, frame, but it makes it look like a painting. You can get like ornate third-party frames. We're just getting a simple black frame. But the idea is instead of a black hole in your living room that is the TV when it's off.
When the TV's off.
It's a beautiful artwork or pictures of your family or whatever you want to put in there.
Yeah. It's like one of those digital picture frames, but on steroids.
But giant. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're getting that one that looks that's black with and they have a fake white mat, so it really does look like you got a framed.
Like you got a picture
of there.
Isn't that
hysterical? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Just thought I'd try it out. What the heck?
What the heck? Can't wait to hear what you think.
So what's going on in your world?
Well, I just posted the latest home theater of the month.
Always love
on
those.
AVS Forum, and it's a beauty. I sent you the direct link. There it is.
Beautiful.
Wow, like a race car set.
Yeah, it's got kind of a race car theme on the bottom half with a checkerboard thing. Notice the BB-8 in the corner.
Oh, my.
Cute.
Which is very good. Now, notice also the movie posters are actually acoustic absorption panels.
Oh, smart.
And
so
there are a
you
number
can
of
get
companies.
those painted, in effect.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
There's somebody on AVS Forum, actually, who has a whole thread on how to do it.
That maybe in the new studio I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, this thing is 100% DIY.
Wow, look at that. That's what it was looking like before.
That's what it looked like ahead of time.
An absolute blank slate.
He calls it the blank slate theater because he had this basement that was a blank slate. He could do anything he wanted.
Wow.
So he put in 2 layers of risers, 2 levels there. And
what does that mean that they're decoupled from the walls? That they can be pushed away, or
No. That there's a 1/4-inch gap between the risers and the walls, so that they don't rub against the walls and make any noise.
Yeah.
That's very persnickety.
It's very persnickety. Home theater geeks can be very persnickety.
You bet. If you're going to do it right.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
If you're
right.
going to go to town, you might as well go into Lincoln.
And he used JBL
In fact,
speakers, which is an interesting choice. I like it.
Yeah, that picture, I didn't realize it before I posted, is an older version of his system.
Oh, that's the
JTR
888s. Okay.
He has since replaced them with JBL Professional speakers, and the 4 subwoofers that you see there, 2 pairs, are still there, and that's all before he put the screen up.
So the screen in front of it?
Yes, the screen is acoustically transparent. It's actually a woven material, and the sound just passes right through the little holes between the threads that have been woven into this screen. It's remarkable.
Isn't that like that one screen we saw in that one place, Leo, that we're not supposed to talk about? I remember that they said that the speakers were behind the screen there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That is how virtually all commercial cinemas do it.
It was the Lucas.
Yeah.
Okay.
He knows how to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows how to.
They have an amazing theater there, which they used to show movies and shows where they worked on where Skywalker Ranch worked on the sound.
Right.
And so its sound is amazing, of course.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. Yeah,
I've been in that theater.
You and I have been there as well. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So that's how all commercial cinemas do it. Now here you can see the equipment rack.
I think our rack looks better, don't you, John? I think our rack is much tidier, much tidier than that. We also have about 5 of them.
He put this in an equipment room, separate
so
from the theater.
Yes, because you don't want the fan noise and the
fan noise. Exactly.
Wow. There's so many devices.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the wiring. I'll be honest with you.
No, well, that may have been an intermediate stage.
Yeah, ours looked like that for years in the brick house, and then John and Russell and Burke and Alex. Oh, Alex Gumpel did all that. Yeah,
tidied it up.
He said enough.
I've had enough.
I've had enough, and it's beautiful now. It's a work of art.
Cable dressing. You're dressing the cables.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, I like to put ranch dressing on mine.
Yeah, when you do it, it's a thing of beauty, actually.
Where did he get the seats? They look nice.
Let's see. He actually, the front row is our new seats.
Yeah.
I forget what model, what they are exactly. It says in the equipment list. The second row are Ashley recliners that he had already.
Oh,
and
that's
funny.
He bought these gray seat covers on Amazon.
Octane seating
In the front row there, which are real theater seats, really comfy, really nice.
Yeah.
So I guess if you've been bad, then you have to sit in those Ashley seats.
You have to sit in the back row.
So I'm just curious. One more thing we need to know about. What's the projector?
Oh, a blanket for everybody. That's nice. Sorry.
That's very nice. Yes, the projector, I believe, is You can scroll down to the.
It's in the room with them, which is, I think, kind of interesting.
It's a JVC.
Yes, hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's a JVC, I'm pretty sure. JVC DLA NZ7.
Okay.
Which, if you're going to get a projector, in the consumer space anyway, the JVCs are the ones to get, without question.
Okay.
Now, is that an interchangeable lens? Because I noticed that you noted the lens, the Panamorph DCR.
No, it's not an interchangeable lens. He put a separate lens in front of the JVC lens. It's called an anamorphic lens. And it stretches the image so that if you send the projector an image that is squished, which is how they are done on DVDs, Blu-rays, and Ultra HD Blu-rays, the lens stretches it out.
Nice.
And that's, again, the way movie theaters do it.
Yeah.
So
how much did this whole kit and caboodle in the blank slate cinema cost him in the long run?
He estimated... let me see. I believe he estimated.
He says, I found it. My wife keeps impeccable records. The entire basement, including the theater, my office, and other areas, ultimately cost just under $40,000. The theater was
60% of that.
That's actually $24,000. That's not bad.
No,
that's not bad.
It's really not bad at all. It's one of the least expensive home theater of the months I've done.
Yeah.
And the reason is it's because of the sweat equity. He did it all himself.
Yeah.
Except for the drywall mudding and texture,
right?
Which that's a hard job. I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, nobody likes doing that part. It's funny.
Do you?
No,
I don't. I don't like doing it, but I'll do it.
You said it as if you like to do it.
Well, I just every time
you could lose a finger with those professional drywall mudders. Man, they move fast. The tape in the mud.
It's impressive. I've just sat and watched videos of them doing it.
We had to have some work done on our electrical, and the electricians, put a lot of holes in the drywall. And he said, well, just call Patches in a Day, which is the local drywall patcher.
Hey, it's Patches in a Day.
So I thought that meant they would come that day. They still haven't come. It's weeks out. But when they do it, they do it in a day.
It'll be done in a day.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait,
right. So I would get professionals to do that as well.
Yeah. That's
even with that, and I think he said also the carpet, he had that installed professionally.
You don't want to do that.
Everything else he did himself.
Very nice. All of this is on the AVS forum, so you can actually the parts list and the builds and all the images.
That red, by the way, you showed a picture there of the inner door.
Yeah.
Which that red is facing out. It's black on the inside, but when you open it up, his wife picked that red because it's the red of the British double-decker buses.
Oh, how fun! Now, black is an interesting choice. He said he didn't like the Rolling Stones song "Paint It Black," but he painted it black anyway.
He did like the
he did like the Rolling. But don't you think that 20 or 30% gray is preferred, or no?
Well, it depends on taste.
I guess your lights are out. It doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, if your lights are out, it doesn't really matter. My theater is a 10% reflectivity.
That's
roughly.
what you really want. You want it flat, huh?
Yeah, you want it flat. And in the front, particularly with a projector, having true black is preferred.
Yeah.
But
movie
if you
theaters
want to paint the whole room black,
black.
I'm not going to stop you. It's fine.
Yeah, movie theaters are black, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Fun. Scott Wilkinson. Now, we have a show. Scott does a weekly show for us called Home Theater Geeks. You can hear the audio. It's available to the public at twit.tv/HTG. Of course, club members get the video as well. They can see Scott in his official lair. Thank you, Scott. It's always a pleasure.
Always great to be here. Yeah. Thanks so much, you guys.
AVSforum.com if you want to see the Home Theater of the Week. And, of course, twit.tv/HTG to listen to Home Theater Geeks each and every week on the Twit Podcast Network. Now, I did mention Club Twit members. Very important if you are a Club Twit member, and it starts at $7. I had an interesting idea, but Lisa vetoed it. I said, why don't we just let them pay whatever they want? Like, if you wanted to pay $1, you could pay $1. Because I figure most people are going to pay more than $7, right?
Oh, but the people who are holding out.
And if there's people who say, well, I would do it if it were $5, we would love to have you too.
Huh.
Anyway, help me convince Lisa that that's That's the thing to do. Right now, $7 is awfully low. You can pay more. That's the important message. What do you get? Well, mostly the great feeling that you're supporting these shows. If you like the shows and you want to hear more, please help us out because it's getting a little tight in here. Podcast advertising has fallen off, which is why maybe many of your favorite podcasts have disappeared. Certainly many podcast networks have given up the ghost. So we started the club 2 years ago. It's been a great success. We want to invite you to join it. A great group of people. There's a Discord where they can hang. You get audio and video for many of the shows that we only provide audio for in public. You get ad-free versions of everything because we don't need to show you ads. You're the member of the club. And you just get that great feeling that you're supporting what we're doing. We'd like to have you join the community. Find out more at twit.tv/club-twit. All right. Anthony Nielsen, who should we address?
We have a Jim on the line.
A Jim. Oh, I know Jim. No, that's Scott.
Jim, that's a Scott.
Looking very serious.
Jim from Hollywood Hills.
Yes, and Jim, unfortunately, I don't have the Mac here. I could show you Nisus. I was going to have him give me some tests, but I didn't bring the Mac today. But I was able to do some of the things that you wanted to do. The Nisus Writer, the program I recommended. Jim has a book that's 2,000 pages. Very long. Lots of illustrations. Lots of stuff. He is a longtime movie sound man. And we've been talking for probably a year now trying to find you a word processor that won't choke on 2,000 pages. I remembered at the very end of our last call that I had used a program called Nisus Writer that pages out to the disk and is supposedly works with an unlimited number of pages. And I did load your book in. You kindly sent me a copy. And it seemed to do everything just fine. I was able to move images around. I was able to go to the very end and page backwards and forwards and stuff. You gave me a long list of things which I did not try. But the problem is Jim doesn't have a Mac. And he asked, is there any way I can run Macs on a PC? No. So Jim, what's the latest?
Okay, well, I sent you an email. Normally you answer them quite quickly. You didn't in this case. I found a fellow in India who has an article, which I sent you, step-by-step illustrated instructions to use VMware to run a Mac OS on Windows. And I was wondering whether you thought this would really work or you were concerned perhaps it's a troll in his mother's basement.
It will not work.
In India.
I just can tell you, it will not work.
Okay.
I don't know why he thinks it would work.
How that would, no.
The reason it won't work is because Apple relies heavily on a lot of library routines that are not available to the public. They're in the old days, they were built into the ROM on the Macs. I don't know if they still are, but you cannot do it, I don't believe, without violating the law. Plus, you'd need a Mac to start with. You need to extract all of those library routines from the Mac. There are Hackintoshes. Maybe that's what he's doing. Is he doing a Hackintosh? Complete Glide installing. He says VMware. Well, you could try it. Let's see where he gets. He needs he needs a Mac OS image. Okay. Where are you going to get that, I guess? Did he send you this?
It was online. I downloaded it.
Oh, okay.
I reformatted it a bit, but that's what he says.
Yeah. So you could turn a PC into a Mac using something called a Hackintosh method, but then it's not a PC anymore. It's running Mac OS. He's suggesting that you could run...
Excuse me, download the image from a Google Drive link?
Yeah,
no.
There's your problem right there.
No. No.
Okay.
This is in other words, this article should be entitled "How to Install Viruses on Your PC."
Yeah. So somebody has made, they claim, a VMware image of Catalina and has posted it on a Google Drive. Yeah, I guess.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust it.
There's a bunch of problems with it. Some software is not going to work. The minute Apple updates anything, it's going to break. Hackintoshes themselves are not very reliable. This is even less so. I don't blame you for wanting to try it, but you adding now so many. By the way, this may not be faster because you're running it in virtualization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, all my friends happen to be Windows.
Nobody has a
worked
Mac
out that way.
Yeah. There must be Nisus is not extra special. There must be a Windows editor that can handle unlimited files. If anybody knows of one, let us know. We'd like to find out, because that's really what you're looking for. Something that can handle that. I have to say, Nisus seemed to handle it quite nicely. But you're also doing some things that maybe aren't, that I wasn't. Some higher end stuff that I wasn't able to try. So, but it seemed like it worked fine. What is the fastest word processor on Windows? That's the real question. What's the fastest one we could use? Jim, what is this image that we're seeing here?
Yeah. That is the Chamberlain from the old Jim Henson's Dark Crystal movie.
You were right.
Yeah.
Micah said it's Dark Crystal.
He
was right.
Yeah, a couple of others thought it was a Skeksis.
I didn't work on that one, but I did work on a series that I would have paid to work on. I didn't tell them that. It was the Jim Henson Creature Shop Challenge.
Oh, wow.
A bunch of people who wanted to be creature builders, and one of them got a job with Henson after the 8 episodes. And he brought out a lot of the stuff left over from his previous work. Farscape, the Navigator, had 3 different models because there was no CGI back then, and it's just loaded with mechanics and electronics, hydraulics, pneumatics, just incredible stuff that was done in the analog world.
I love Farscape, and I love the Navigator. That is so cool to hear. So they had 3 models of the same Navigator in case one of them failed.
Yeah. Oh. No. They did different things.
Oh, okay.
No one model could do everything.
Oh, I see. So when they needed to do a shot where the Navigator was typing or something like that,
whatever it was, you had to use the right Navigator.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Jim, have you ever tried LibreOffice to see if that works better than Word? That is available.
No.
You might want to download that. That's free. It's free and it's open source. Word is a pig. And I'm not surprised that it can't handle a 2,000-page document. It's just a pig. And, I'm not surprised you're having this problem. But we do want you to keep working on the book because we can't wait to see it.
I will certainly do that.
And I haven't read the chapter yet on the blow up, but I will soon. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can find this quickly here. I do have a picture of the Navigator.
Farscape guys, get ready.
Wow.
So I have no idea what this is, but I'm glad that it's making you happy, Micah.
Oh, that's the little guy, isn't it? Let's see. What's his name? Because he's the one that's got the beard that he always pulls on. That is Domina Rigel, the 16th. Wow. And then 2 other head models for it. That's very cool. That is very cool to see. So for folks who are listening, you can see these kind of puppet contraptions with wires running to them. And they're kind of laying on the table, all of the animatronics that's involved. Very, very cool. And you said the show that you wanted to be on was people competing to get a job with Jim Henson?
Yeah. Sorry about the phone there. It's the Jim Henson Creature Shop Challenge. There was some stuff put up on YouTube a while ago. I don't know if it's still there or not, of the episodes. to try and get around the thing that would get over the copyrights. They blew up the image so it isn't full screen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I've got something else here.
All right.
Thank you, Jim.
Yes,
I appreciate
thank you so
it.
much. And thank you for sharing those photos.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Hey,
All the Farscape fans are going, squeak.
Yeah.
Hey,
Me, I'm
thank
just
you
going,
hey, thank you for running the show. And of course, I'm a TWIT member.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a member
Yeah.
of the club. We appreciate it.
Very grateful. Have a good one, Jim. I'm sorry we don't have anything better for you,
Maybe
but
in the
honestly,
gray office.
don't try to run Mac in a virtual machine
please
on
don't.
PC. And definitely don't download an image from Google Drive.
Yeah. I was already kind of going, oh, you downloaded this PDF from some site. Like, oh, who knows? Anyway.
Who else should we talk to here? What else do we have? 888-724-2884 is the number.
Do you want to do another email?
Sure. I think I have some more here. I put them back foolishly, returning them to their sepulcher. Matthew writes, thanks for the show and all you two do to help. I've recently switched to iPhone. After being an Android user, there's a learning curve. And I have a couple of questions. This would be for you, Micah. When I switched to the iPhone, I transferred my photos from the old phone to the new phone. No problem.
Great.
Worked well. I want to start using the Google Photos app on my iPhone. I'm afraid it's just going to copy the photos on my phone back into Google Photos, and then I'll have many duplicates. I am backing up to the iCloud, plus I started using Amazon Photos, so that I have more than one place my photos reside. Do you know if I start using Google Photos app, will I have a problem with duplicates?
I think that because the whole point of the system is that it understands that if the file is the same, that it's not going to make a duplicate copy.
Right.
But I have to say, I have not come from Android to iOS and then attempted to use Google Photos. So I don't know if it would copy them at that point, because it wouldn't necessarily have, I'd like to think that the image file is going to be the same. Image file name is going to be the same. And that's the first step that Google does to try to determine if the photo is the same. It'll look at the image file name, then it's going to look at the metadata and use that to determine what needs to be uploaded. What you might try doing is just launching it and running it for a minute, and then you can force quit the app. And that will stop it from continuing to upload photos.
Just to see.
Yeah, just to see. Kind of run a little sync test.
Google doesn't have a remove duplicates feature. One of the reasons people don't do that is the liability that incurs. They deleted something you really wanted and it wasn't a duplicate. And so they're reluctant to do that. And Apple doesn't have that either, I don't believe. One of our sponsors, Mileo Photos, does. And there are deduping programs out there. But almost all of them work on their local database. I don't know of anything that will work on Google Photos remotely. So, I mean, if it's a duplicate, it's because it thinks it's a different one.
Right.
Because the date is different, maybe the name is different, maybe the size is different. If it's the same, if you haven't modified the photo, I think you're going to be okay.
I think so too.
Yeah.
My heart is telling me that everything's going to be fine.
And then with regard to calendar, Matthew wants to know, my iCalendar has no problem getting events from the Google Calendar, but when I create an event in iCalendar, it will not show up. It doesn't sync over to Google Calendar. I have a PC, so I still need Google Calendar because, I can't use the Apple Calendar on my PC. They're supposed to do two-way sync. Make sure on your iPhone that you have added your full Google account, and then underneath where you're at the accounts, it'll show all the different things that can be synced, including mail, calendar, notes, address book. Make sure all of those are checked to be synced. It's supposed to be a two-way sync. Now, my wife was complaining about this as well. She said, I'll add an event and it won't sync over. Syncing is tough, but in nominally, it's supposed to be able to do that. So I think just make sure you've got that set up completely and you've got all the boxes checked. Because actually, it's kind of built to Apple's calendar that you sync with Google Calendar. They understand that you're going to want some cloud sync.
Yeah, absolutely.
Solution. Yeah. One more. Thank you, Matthew, for the email. atg@twit.tv. Don't you hate it when people do this? Lick their finger.
I don't like finger.
I knew you would hate that.
It's so gross.
Do you wear the little rubber thumb?
No,
Okay. Sometimes you'll see accountants with the little rubber thumb.
Yeah, helps them. Whenever you get something on your finger and you lick
It's
it
disgusting.
off.
But sometimes there's no way.
Nope, there's a way.
What's the way?
The way is water.
Oh, dip your finger in water?
Just clean. Oh, you're talking about to swipe through pages. I'm talking about people will eat something and then they're like, oh, that's finger licking good. And they'll lick their fingers afterwards.
Oh, I do that also. Like us a little bit.
It is so
of a
gross to
germaphobe.
me.
Just a little bit.
So gross to me.
It's fine. You're licking good.
On shows,
we know
when
it's
people do
okay. KFC tells you to do that.
It's so gross.
It's finger licking good.
I watched Survivor.
Yeah.
And I said, if I ever go on Survivor,
you will not lick your
even
fingers.
if I'm starving, I will not lick my fingers afterward. And they have dirty fingernails and they're
you shouldn't. You know what? You're right. It's a bad idea.
It's not good.
Do not lick your fingers. Get one of those little moist towelettes.
Yeah. I always have one.
Do you?
No, I wish. I wish I was that.
You seem like you might. Apple Podcast to Google Speaker question from Graham in Kingston, Ontario. Hey, ATTGs.
Hello.
I like it. That's good. I have a quick question. I use iOS, and I have a number of Google Nest speakers around the house. I would like to know if there's any way, shortcut, for example, to play podcasts on my Nest speakers. Seems Apple and Google don't always play nice. I've tried a wide variety of podcast apps, prefer to use Apple's. He says he has found a solution. It's the Podurama app, but it's not great.
What'd you call me?
Podurama. Now, I use Apple Music.
Yeah.
And I have authorized Apple Music within my Google Home app. So all my Google speakers will play music from Apple Music. Similarly, my Apple speakers will play music from YouTube Music.
Why not just use Bluetooth to play to them?
So you can AirPlay also. Or not AirPlay, Bluetooth play. But I think what he wants to do is talk to it and say, hey, Schmoogle, play the Ask the Tech Guys podcast.
Yeah. So
here's the trick that I do. I will say on YouTube Music, on Apple Podcasts. Here's one that often works. It's on Spotify. So even if you don't have a paid Spotify account, if you have a free Spotify account, you can authorize it with your Google speakers and then ask for a podcast. And most podcasts are also on Spotify. Doesn't mean you have to use it in any other way. You can literally ask for any podcast by name. So, and you can even use the word latest. So I will often say, hey, Schmoog, play the latest Ask the Tech Guys podcast on Spotify. And it will then play that podcast. So I think that's the trick, is you don't need to have a podcast app on your iPhone at all.
Right.
You can ask for any podcast by name.
There you go. The two supported services, latest supported services, do seem to be Spotify and Google Podcasts.
They don't
That's
support
not
Apple
YouTube now.
Podcasts.
Yeah, they don't support Apple Podcasts.
But I think if you, they do support Apple Music.
Yes.
And I think I don't know how Apple Podcasts work. I haven't used it. You can have those podcasts in Apple Music. The point is, you don't need to be subscribed to them.
Yeah. I understand that this person's probably wanting to pick up where they left off, for example, and all of that.
You can do that. In fact, that's why I learned how to say the latest, because I'll be listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
And I'll stop halfway through. And then the next time I ask for that podcast, I don't even have to say a number or anything. It will start in the middle. And I say, no. Play the latest. Forget that I didn't finish that.
Got it.
So I know it will pick up where you left off.
As long as you were listening to it on that device before. But if I was listening to it on my phone in Apple Podcasts, and then I go to that,
right.
which, that's just, it's unfortunately, Apple Podcasts does not have. Google itself says YouTube Music or Spotify are the two places. But yeah, you're right, Leo, that if the person's just consistently listening on their Google Nest devices, then it'll pick up where you left off.
I like the slogan, the quote from Chocolate Milk Mini Sip in our Discord chat. Hey, you moronic and mostly useless device that usually hears me wrong and or does the wrong thing. Even when you do hear me correctly, play Ask the Tech Guys on the TV. Do you mean to play funny stories about tech from Vimo on your midnight radio? No. I know. It's, I'm hoping. I keep hoping. I am an eternal optimist when it comes to home automation. I have this fantasy that I will be able to say, hey, Schmoop, hey, Schmoopy. Hey, Schmoopy, good morning, Schmoopy. And the curtains will open, the lights will come on, the podcast will start playing, the coffee will start perking.
Ta-ra-ra, boom-de-ay.
All of that
playing.
stuff.
Yeah.
That you could talk to your house and have it respond.
Your smart socks will give you a foot massage.
But no.
But alas.
No.
I don't talk to these systems because they always let me down. I don't like it.
I know. They let you down even if you didn't talk to them, by the way.
True.
So it's just the whole thing is a bad idea. In general, a bad idea.
All of it. It's all a bad idea.
It's all a bad idea. I'm sorry we brought it up.
That's the real answer.
Do you want to take a call?
I would love to take a call.
I see Paul the father. I see Monique.
Have a wireless caller.
Yes.
All right. Wireless caller.
Let's do a wireless caller. Come down. Come on down.
*6 to unmute.
This is Johnny Olson speaking for The Price is Right.
We are talking to you, Me. What is your name, Me?
My name is Hans.
Hi, Hans. Where are you calling from?
Confirming that you're going to say my name.
Hans, it's you. And where are you calling from, Hans?
Leo, I have been a big fan of yours for too many years.
Oh.
First, I would like to share that I used to work for the Muppets, and I used to sit at a desk where the two elephants were dangling above me. And when I would look up, I would always see them looking down at me. And I always felt they were kind of judging me. Thought I'd bring that.
Wow. So anytime you're making a decision in your life, you think of them looking down on you going, oh, not the right.
Wow.
Going, should I get chocolate or peanut butter?
They never closed their eyes. They never closed their eyes. They would always stare at me.
Oh, that's kind of scary.
So I knew Jim Henson. I thought I would share that with the gentleman who phoned earlier because it was a very special moment of my life.
I bet.
That's not why I'm calling, though. I'm calling because I'm a media artist and designer, and lately I've been dipping my toe into AI, all the available websites that are online. And I can remember so many things in my life that have revolutionized what was before it, from vinyl to cassettes to CDs to now downloading, and the same with movies. I can download pretty much anything for free. And from what I'm seeing from my just dipping my toe into AI, which is a heck of a lot of fun, I've been with people who've studied at very expensive colleges where they've learned CGI and spent so much money on their training and their computers they had to buy. And I've gone with them to SIGGRAPH conventions, which has been fascinating. But I see AI pushing that all into like the waste bin and replacing it all. That's my own personal, humble initial opinion.
Is that good? Now, here's my question. Is that good or bad?
I think it's great, except for one thing. I think it's going to be really hard to tell reality from unreality, or even with historical events.
That's exactly true.
I'm very new at this.
Yeah. Here's a tweet that I think a lot of artists share this opinion. This came from Red and Black Salamander, and it's titled Art Tools. There's a pencil for sketching, there's a pen for inking, there's a brush for coloring, and then there is a homemade pipe bomb for AI data centers. And I honestly think that a lot of artists really wish AI would go away. They feel like their job is going to... But do you think that it's possible that you could use AI in collaboration to make your work better, to help you in your job?
Well, I'm already experimenting with that with YouTube videos and presentations for myself, and I find it stunningly amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like the strike that happened last year was moot. I don't think they're going to be able to stop it or hold it back from replacing so many jobs. It's just my personal observation.
You have, so it's really interesting there because there is this huge, kind of fork in the road. Some creators welcome it, and like you, and some creators are so afraid that it's going to put them out of business. But I'm kind of the opinion that there's something a human can do that no machine ever can do. And we talk about the uncanny valley. And if you've seen the videos generated by Sora and other very interesting, I mean, it's interesting because they can do it, but it's not as good as a human can do. And even the AI music that we play all the time on our shows it's mediocre. It's not inspiring. It doesn't have humanity to it. So I do think there's something we do. You think that someday that we won't be able to make the distinction?
I just remember when cameras had 2 pixels, 4 pixels, or when computers only had 2 megabytes or 4 megabytes. And the people, I remember I worked for this major firm in New York, and the accountant came in and said, we're going to upgrade to a computer that now has 6 megabytes so we can really do our accounting. And, you
remember the scene in Mad Men when they bought a mainframe computer and they had to take over the whole floor and put in a raised floor.
Yes.
That was a wonderful moment from the 60s.
I worked for a firm that had to knock a hole through the ceiling to be able to sit at one desk on one floor and reach the computer above.
Wow. So, yes, we've seen a lot of changes and there's been huge acceleration. I'm still maybe this is whistling past the graveyard. I feel like computers can do so much, and yes, they're getting better and better and better, but that's not infinite. There is a point that they can get to where they just can't bridge that gulf between what a machine can do and what a human can do. And maybe that's religious of me or somehow foolish of me, but I really do think there is something magical that we do as humans and we have a very finely tuned ability to recognize, which is not, but I'm not anti-AI. In fact, that's one of the things that protects us from AI. No matter what tools you use to generate art or photos or movies, the human element will always be, you'll always need the human element. Mm-hmm. Now, I may be wrong. You're right. I mean, we're seeing a hockey stick of progression right now with AI. I just think it gets to a point, it gets 99%, and then there's that 1% that we are unique that we add. I hope so anyway. What would happen though if
I respect your opinion.
Are you worried about not being about being out of work?
Well, I've already had that happen to me more than once, and I'll share a tiny little story. One of my skills was building scale models.
Yes.
And I worked for some of the biggest firms building elaborate scale models. A presentation was given over Lincoln Center, and one of the architects asked about computer rendering, could that ever replace scale models? And he was laughed out of the building.
Right.
And of course, nobody makes scale models anymore.
There's a famous scene. There's a wonderful documentary on Disney Plus about the model lab that Lucas built for Star Wars. And there's a wonderful moment where Spielberg is making Jurassic Park. And he's got, I think it was Ray Harryhausen, building a life-size T-Rex, mechanical T-Rex, because he thought this is the only way we can do it. And the digital artists at Lucas, in a kind of skunkworks, made an animated T-Rex. They just kept it playing on a loop in the screen. So when Spielberg walked by, and he went, "What is that?" And the world changed, by the way. And yes, you as somebody who could make mechanical models, that was it. It was over for you. It's sad, but that's mechanical models. I think that doesn't mean that your particular artistic skill set is obsolete, is it? You can't make.
I still make the occasional model,
but there's other things you do
once in a while. Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm a member of ASCAP. I write songs, for example, and I've really tried to diversify my artistic expression, and I love doing it.
I think it's interesting that you're not threatened by AI.
Thank you.
Are you?
Thank you very much.
You're not, are you?
No. I'm loving it. I am loving it.
And is that because you feel like there'll always be a scope for you to operate, or do you not fear that at some point you'll be replaced entirely?
I think if you're always got this creative bug or urge inside of you, you're always going to find some way to grow with what's happening around you.
I guess we're saying the same thing. There'll always be a place for humans. I hope. I don't, honestly.
Well, when you were saying all of that earlier, I was thinking I'm happily married and I don't want to replace my wife with
Perfect example. There are people who say, oh, no, I'd like an AI robot wife. but not me.
No.
And not you.
For the lonely.
So far, they're
perhaps.
pretty soulless.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of the creations of AI right now are soulless. I think that's a good word to use to describe it. It's an interesting debate. A lot of artists, though, your shoes are very threatened. As you pointed out, that's what the last two strikes were about. But partially. I'm glad to hear that you are bullish. So tell me about your art now. What do you do and how do you use AI?
Well, as I said, I'm a member of ASCAP. I've had a couple of songs recorded in Europe that I wrote, and it's songs you've never heard of, such as My Baby Loves to Boom Boom. I doubt you've ever heard that.
What a great song. I love it.
Sounds like a great title.
May I play it?
My baby loves to boom boom. Da, 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 da.
You're pretty close. You're really close. Another one is called Living in My Truck. Oh, that's a classic. But
how about My Baby Loves to Boom Boom in My Truck? We could do a metal.
In my
I never thought of that. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
But I wrote one called Sharks in Shallow Water, and I'm right now trying to work on a music video for it. And I'm having a lot of fun doing it. I'm just pulling as much free stuff as I can off the web from the various sites, which I'm sorry I said because they're probably going to start shutting their sites down.
Are you using Sora or tools like that to create? By the way, when I searched for My Baby Loves to Boom Boom, I found a YouTube video of the best falls in beauty pageants.
Oh. That's me. That's my song. Used as a background. I put all those videos together.
What?
Wow.
That is you? Best
That's
pageant?
I put that video together.
Copyright Hans Carls Clausen, it's you. Oh my God. That's hysterical. My Baby Loves to Boom Boom.
Oh, you will never get that song out of your head.
Okay, I'm not going to play it for anybody because I... Best pageant falls. Oh, come on. Let's play a little bit. Here we go. Oh! Yeah, we'll have to edit this part out of the YouTube version of this. So you're Mr. Model, huh?
I am. She makes me jump the moon. That's me. That's my song.
Is that you singing?
Motor stays in tune. Yeah, I can do different voices.
I love it.
I used to do live theater, so I used to have a strong voice on stage.
That sounds so... Hans, I wish we could hang. You sound like a fascinating person. What an eclectic career you've had. And I love it that you have always found, and I think this is the human spirit, you've always found a way to create. You had to create, so you've always found a medium that you could create in. Now, here's the issue.
Well, I loved your original show way back when, but look what you've done with your career as well. I'm most impressed.
Well, you're a little too kind, I think. But anyway, thank you. My question, though, is can you make a living? And that, I think, increasingly is a problem in this country, which is we don't value the really valuable things. And artists are not generally valued. I mean, you're creating, which is nice, in a sphere where it is valuable because it's mass media or pageant boom booms. But
that was just for fun. That video was just for fun.
I love it. It's so funny. My baby loves to boom boom. Hans, a pleasure talking to you. We should continue this conversation because I'd like to know, as time goes by and AI evolves, if you continue to celebrate it, if it makes you nervous. I'm with you. I'm bullish. I think from the very first, computers have always been best as tools, not to replace humans, but as tools humans use. That's what we're tool makers.
We're tool users.
That's what we do. Yeah. And let's hope it stays that way.
I agree. And they offer wonders beyond imagination.
So nice to talk to you.
They really do.
My baby loves to boom.
Same here.
Boom, boom, boom. My baby loves. You sound like you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Yeah.
I can do that voice.
I think you
should hear me singing Sharks in Shallow Water.
Oh, man. Hey, a real pleasure. Thank you, Hans.
I wonder if that's like Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Like a shark in some shallow water. Now, how many copyright strikes do we have today? That's the question. That's the real
Run the counter at the bottom of the screen.
We should, we should have a little number that goes up. You're watching Ask the Tech Guys. That there is Micah Sargent. I'm Leo Laporte. We're so glad you're here today.
And we love to boom boom. That means whatever you want it to mean.
It could mean anything.
Yeah.
In this case, people in high heels falling over.
Yeah, and in some cases, it's about answering tech questions. That's what we love to do.
We like to
That's our boom boom.
That's our boom boom. Anthony Nielsen. You know,
what's your boom boom?
Do you think an AI could ever do what we do?
In the short term, no. In the long term, yeah.
Here's what I think. I think an AI can imitate.
Right.
But an imitation is not the same as the original. Humans can be original in ways that AIs can't.
Right, because we're loaded with mistakes.
Yeah, partly it's because of the mistakes.
Yeah.
Right.
But I found it interesting what you were talking about earlier about our ability to tell the difference. Modern humans, that is Homo sapiens, have been around for something like 300,000 years. So we've got a lot of time, of a lot of training that is practically built into our genetic code at this point, that is specifically related to our ability to determine what is dangerous, what is not. And that manifests in different ways. We've talked before about how motion sickness is essentially just our brains thinking that we've eaten something that is poisonous to us, and that's why it makes us nauseated, whenever we are in VR. But that uncanny valley aspect is genuinely our ability to determine what is like us and what is not like us, because we've got so much experience of having to do that for the sake of our survival.
It was survival, yeah. Do you, in the meanwhile, I would like to survive by answering another question.
That's what keeps us going.
That's what keeps us going.
Like a shark in shallow water, that is what keeps us going.
What do you got for us?
Paul the father on the line.
All right, Paul the father. Welcome. There he is.
Oh, Leo and Mikah.
Hi, Father.
Greetings.
Good to talk to you. Where are you calling from?
It's beautiful downtown Oswego, Illinois.
Ah, nice.
Outside of Chicago.
Yes.
So, in case you need to say. So, but I do have a question, and I will say a lot of the questions that I have had in the past, you have answered. But this is the only one that's hanging me up. So I appreciate your giving me the time to ask it. So it's more of a why versus a how.
Okay. Yes.
I have Apple TV 4K. I have a TV that has Dolby Atmos. I have a soundbar that has Dolby Atmos. But my question is, and I've seen all the video settings, but it's more of an audio thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a why when I have everything plugged into the television and I'm watching a certain sport that involves around a soccer ball on an app that involves a certain bird. I figured I better not say it, but I figured I'd say it. Why I cannot hear play-by-play plugged into TV. But I can hear play-by-play plugged into soundbar.
Do you hear any sound
I can hear crowd noise on either.
Wow.
I can hear.
It's just the
I can hear crowd noise on either.
You hear crowd noise. You're not hearing the announcers.
The announcers. Yeah. That's the question. Like, why does it work on one and not on the other? And I guess which is better to have it plugged into?
So first of all, the source of this is the Apple TV.
Correct.
Okay. So one thing you might want to do is go into your sound settings and see what Apple TV is sending out. It's possible it's sending out something that the TV can decode, but the soundbar can't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's also possible that your center channel is broken on your soundbar, but everything and every other channel besides that bird channel.
But it works fine in the when I plug it in the soundbar. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It works in the soundbar, but not the TV.
Correct.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. So
no.
So the
it works in
Okay. So yeah, the TV's not decoding it properly. It's sending it to the TV in a format it doesn't understand. Is it an older TV?
Like a 22.
That's pretty new. So
TCL.
Yeah. Oh, it should understand everything. It's just then a setting. It might be in the TV. It might be in the Apple TV.
Okay.
So you can send sound in a variety of ways. You can send it as a simple bit stream, but with the modern surround sound, you're going to have it be encoded in some way. Typically Dolby Atmos. That's what you're talking about. Dolby Atmos is Apple Surround minus a few additional features. Your soundbar almost certainly can handle it. If the Apple TV is sending it out, does it say Atmos on the screen when you're watching the game? Sometimes
does,
at the beginning,
depending on what. Sometimes it does.
Yeah,
it'll say like a little thing on the TV.
Yeah, so it'll tell you. it's just an encoding issue. It's just an encoding issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stick with the soundbar, and the soundbar is connected via optical or HDMI.
HDMI.
Yeah, that's the right way to do it. To your ARC on your TV or onto the. Actually, no, it would be on the. Where does the Apple TV go?
Everything's in the soundbar.
So the Apple TV goes to the soundbar.
The TV's in the soundbar.
Where does the Apple TV?
So
the HDMI port on the Apple TV, that cable goes into the TV?
Actually, I have it in this situation, yes, the TV.
TV. And then your soundbar is connected to the ARC HDMI on your TV.
Yes.
Yes, that's the audio return channel. And the only reason you do that is so when you play on the TCL, you play Netflix on the TCL, the audio goes into the soundbar.
Yes.
That's the right setup.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You could look at encoding.
I'll blame the bird.
Could be the bird. It could be the way it's encoded. Could be the way the encoding is being passed along.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'll try those.
And, it's also worth considering if you're just using HDMI cables that came with those devices, if they're out of date.
That could be it too.
It's always, we recommend Cable Matters.
And get the latest.
The latest version
HDMI,
of
whatever is
HDMI
2.1A.
Cable Matters from. You can get them on Amazon, and they're not very expensive at all. Sometimes that could be the difference. I've had just cables that were old and didn't work properly.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have upgraded cables for this exact purpose. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, 4K Apple TV. You want to make sure you're using HDMI 2.1 cables. Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that.
Hey, a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, great question.
Have
nice
a great
to meet
one.
you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye.
In beautiful Oswego, Chicagoland.
We're 4 minutes out from our traveling guru.
Johnny Jet.
We could jump right into it if you want.
Is Johnny here?
Johnny jump.
All right. Let's pause. The pause that refreshes. And that's Micah Sargent. I'm Leo Laporte. You're watching Ask the Tech Guys. It's time to travel to wonderful exotic places all over the world with Johnny Jet from johnnyjet.com. He is our travel guru. Hi, Johnny.
How are you guys?
Hello.
Where are you?
I am in Toronto, Canada.
Visiting the fam.
Yeah, so last time I was on, I was getting ready for a big trip. Well, guess what?
What?
I was supposed to go to Europe.
Yeah.
The day before, I got hand, foot, and mouth with my daughter.
You're kidding.
I'm sorry.
And I woke up, my hands were killing me. I had all over. I went to the doctor. They're like, you cannot go on a cruise with hand, foot, and mouth.
You had to cancel the cruise? I hope you had insurance, Johnny.
Listen, I work with Allianz, so you know
were fully insured.
Even before I worked with Allianz, I've always bought travel insurance. But what I did not buy was the cruise insurance.
Oh.
When you buy a cruise, they always say, "Do you want to buy their insurance?" I was like, "I don't need it. I have." Anyway, and I figured that I know so many people, I'd be able to get it removed anyway. They're like, "Sorry, there's nothing we can do for you. So if you don't have your own insurance, you lost your money." But luckily, I have Allianz, and I haven't even processed yet. I'm about to do it.
My wonderful travel agent, Jane at Travel Store, always makes me buy insurance, and I have never capitalized on it. And I feel like this is such a huge expense. But boy, it sounds like you're glad you had it. And I never get it from the cruise line. I always get it from a third party.
Always a third party.
And that's because if the cruise line goes under, you're out of luck. And that's not unheard of. Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But, the one thing, if I did have it through the cruise line, I wouldn't even have to go through Allianz, although they would have just given me a credit, which would have been fine. But it would have been basically one phone call, and that's it.
So you got your money back, basically?
Not yet. I haven't submitted it yet.
Okay.
But I should.
You will. Okay.
I should. Well, my next interview with you, I should know by then.
They don't say, "Oh, well, you're sick, so we'll give you your money back, but your wife and kids have to go without you."
Well, actually, my daughter had it with me. My wife and son actually had it a week before, which we didn't really realize.
Were they allowed? Were they can they reimburse the whole thing?
Yeah, they have to.
They do. Okay.
But what doesn't really make sense to me is that I go, look at my hands. First of all, I had it all over my hands and my mouth. I couldn't even swallow. And I was like, would you rather me go on the cruise so I don't lose my money?
Of course they don't want you. In fact, when you get on a cruise, the first thing they do is make you fill out a form asking if you're sick in the most graphic of details. And if you said, now what if you said, yeah, I am not feeling so well? They wouldn't give you your money back. They just would say,
they evaluate you.
They wouldn't let you on, though, right?
Yeah, they deny your boarding.
And then they don't guarantee you your money back. You'd be out the money.
Oh, you're out. I mean,
wow.
I don't know if we talked about this last time, but about a month ago, a woman, did we talk about this? A woman on Carnival Cruise, she posted it on Facebook, her confirmation number, and they canceled it.
Yes.
Someone canceled it 2 days before.
Yes, we talked about that.
Yeah, so, I mean, the only reason why she knew is because they canceled one of her excursions. So she logged into her account. Otherwise, her whole family was going to be there. They were going to board with all their luggage and then find out, sorry. Always double check your reservations and get insurance.
And get a good travel agent, right? Because this is kind of a good travel agent will protect you and make sure you do all those things right. Do not be this guy who came and arrived late for his flight and missed it and then decided to take off his shirt and shoes and run after the airplane.
Yeah, I wrote that this morning. I woke up, I go, oh my God, are you kidding me? This happened yesterday morning.
Was he hoping to catch it?
There weren't a lot of details. It was actually a baggage handler, I think, that posted the video.
That's hysterical.
And I saw it on account of South Bay responders.
That's hysterical.
I mean, they tasered him.
Well, so he'd lost his marbles, I guess.
Unfortunately, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, but anyway.
What else is going on in your world, Johnny Jet?
Well, there's a few things. So actually, last time I didn't have time to mention, there's some good news. Southwest Airlines is now on Google Flights. Before, you always had to go to southwest.com. So now you can price it out using Google Flights, which I love using because you can narrow it down to one way.
Are there any airlines that are not now on Google Flights or...
I think some of the low-fare carriers, not in the U.S., I think all of them are on there.
Okay.
But when I'm on there, I avoid the low-fare carrier. So when I use Google Flights, I choose I just hit either like Star Alliance, One World, or SkyTeam because I prefer major airlines. And I also avoid basic economy tickets.
Yeah, because they're not refundable and...
Yeah, you're board last. Some of them, you have to wait in line to get your boarding pass. And actually, another reason why you should avoid basic economy tickets, I had a tip this month. Actually, one of my writers wrote it, which I piggied off. She piggied off me a while ago. Whenever I buy a ticket, even before and after, I always set a price alert, a fare alert.
Where do you do that?
If that price drops, you can do it on Google Flights. You can do it on Kayak.
Okay.
So whatever flight you buy, you track it. And Google Flights makes it really easy. You just go into Google Flights, find the flight that you bought, and just hit the track flight for the price alerts. And if the price drops, below what you paid for, you can call up. As long as you don't buy a basic economy ticket, you can call up and get a travel credit for within a year. And my writer, which I had her write this because I don't fly Delta much anymore, she said she did it all through Delta's virtual assistant. She just texted them and they gave her a credit. So I will put that in the chat room right now.
How to get money back from an airline on flights you've already purchased using price alerts by Melissa Curtin.
Yeah, you already found it.
You're quick. It's at johnnyjet.com, of course.
You really are fast.
Now, Johnny, I did hear a rumor that Southwest is going to change their boarding policy and give you assigned seats. Is that true?
They need to. They don't know for sure, but because, I don't fly Southwest really anymore, but I've heard that when you fly Southwest, so many people are trying to get on the plane first because they don't assign. So what they do, the big scam is, they say they're hurt,
You get a
they have
wheelchair.
disability.
Yeah.
They get a wheelchair. They're taking away the wheelchairs from everyone else that really needs them.
The last time I flew
they call them miracle flights.
Yeah, they're miracle flights because they walk off the plane just fine. Last time I flew Southwest it was from Green Bay, Wisconsin. There was a line of at least 20 or 30 people who were getting early boarding because they were disabled. Now, I'm sure some of those people were legitimately disabled,
For sure.
but I've never
For
seen
sure.
such a long line in my life. And I guess it's a trick people use to get on early so they can get a better
it's
seat.
It's a nasty, bad karma trick. I do
I don't
not
like
advise
it. It is bad karma. Don't do that.
By the way, did you get a picture of that? I would love to.
Next
I
time.
need a good picture of that.
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't. I was just like, Lisa and I are looking at each other saying, does this seem like an abnormally large number of people in wheelchairs?
It's a problem. So these people, these business travelers or whoever else is paying, pretty good money to get, the first boarding zone A1.
Yeah.
They don't even get the board.
Well, we were in A1 and it didn't, and we're standing there watching because we paid the extra because you know what, the whole thing is, it's crazy, this struggle to get on so that you have room to put your carry-ons.
Carry-on.
And it's just, this is crazy. I think Southwest should just have assigned seats.
Well, what's ironic is that Southwest gives you 2 free check bags up to 50 pounds apiece.
Well, that's
for
the
free.
problem.
The only airline that does it. No, that they give you the free check bag.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So,
but nobody
people
wants
should
to
not
check.
be carrying so much on. No one wants to check, even if it's free.
Yeah. No one wants
But they
to
especially don't want to check when it's not free. So it's even worse on other airlines.
Right.
But so there's rumors Southwest is actually going to start doing red eyes. They don't do red eyes. I don't know if you realize that.
I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah, they don't. They're and there's a lot of talk right now. The CEO and the chairman are in trouble. This investor came in and bought 10 or 11% of the company, and he really wants them gone. Excuse me. And Southwest is going through some bumps right now.
So apparently Canada will let you in with foot, mouth, and hoof disease.
Well, you know what? I stayed home for a week.
Oh, okay.
Until it was gone.
Okay.
And they actually said I probably could have gone, my kid could have gone back to school the next day. They said, as long as she didn't have a fever for 24 hours. I was like, are you serious?
It's amazing what you get from schools these days. I never heard of this disease. This sounds awful.
Yeah. Coxsackie. It's another word for it is Coxsackie, which I had never really heard of. Hand, foot, and mouth is pretty common with kids under 5, and my daughter's 4. But it's nasty. But what was I going to say?
I'm sorry, I distracted you.
No, that's all right. I can't remember what we're talking about.
You're going to tell me about the Delta flight where the passengers ate moldy food? You want to tell me about that one?
Well, I mean, we can, but I was going to say that, I was supposed to go to Europe. When I got better, I was like, where should we go? So my brother called me up. He said, why don't you come to Nantucket? He has a house there.
Nice.
So I just cashed in some miles. We flew to Boston, and then I bought tickets on JetBlue, and we flew to Nantucket, which is great. But one of my tips for going to Europe or anywhere that's hot, right now it seems like it's everywhere is hot, is to bring one of these. It's a fan, a portable fan. You put it around your neck.
And people will stay away from you.
Yeah.
No, listen. I saw people in Europe, in Rome last summer with it.
Really?
And at first I was like, are you guys crazy? And then I realized that they're not sweating like everyone else.
Ah.
So either have a portable handheld fan or wear one of those
or a neck fan. Okay.
Which they look like headphones. But man, you'll cool down, and they're not expensive. They're like $30. So that is a good little tip.
You are a wild man. Mr. Johnny Jet, our travel guru. He's at johnnyjet.com. Are you going to rebook that cruise? I feel so bad.
I did. I rebooked it for next summer.
Good.
Actually, I didn't rebook that cruise. I just bought a new cruise.
You know what? I'm really excited. In next year, we're going to go on a Mississippi River cruise from New Orleans.
Is that Viking?
On Viking, from New Orleans to St. Paul. I'm really excited about that. I want to see America.
I want to see it too.
You're going to see the beautiful St. Joseph, Missouri? Did you grow up on the Mississippi or the Missouri?
Missouri.
Yeah. Okay.
And you don't need a passport for that.
You don't need a passport, although you might wish you had one in New Orleans. But no, I'm just kidding. I don't know what that means. But we really we thought after COVID, we thought we're going to travel in the U.S. for a little bit, just see the country. I'm very excited about that.
Speaking of New Orleans, was it you that told me a story a long time ago about tipping what do you call these guys?
The guy who polishes your shoes?
Yes, or singing. Was it you?
Yeah, it was
And you
me.
got in trouble?
I got suckered. The guy said, he said,
No, you got arrested. Someone got arrested.
I did not get arrested.
Not get arrested, no.
No,
So it wasn't
I've
you.
never been arrested.
He just had to pay some money that he
I just
wasn't
out
planning
$20.
on. Yeah.
Guy says,
No, it was someone else.
Guy says, will you give me $5 if I could tell you where you got them shoes? I said, yeah. He said, they're on your feet. That's where you got them. And I said, just for that, I'm going to give you $5. And he started shining my shoes, and I had to give him $20.
Oh my God!
But I was just glad to get out with my life at that point. You got to be
one
careful.
more thing, by the way.
Yes.
You got time for one more?
One more.
So the U.S. State Department, they relaunched their pilot program to renew passports online.
Oh, good.
About 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
so
good.
This is only for renewals, so you can't do it for a new passport. But I just saw someone that I follow on Threads or Twitter. They got it within a week by using this. I've heard other people say don't use it right away because they're getting their kinks out. But listen, I would take a chance. And,
my passport, you're not supposed to travel if it's expiring within 6 months of your travel.
Correct.
And my passport expires next year, I think in January. So this is the time to do it.
Do it. I'm going to put this in the chat room right now.
Please do. So they now allow you to do this online. You probably mail in your old one. Very
well,
nice.
they came out with a pilot program, I think last September, but it only lasted for a month.
Oh.
Then they pulled it, and now they brought it back, and they're only taking, I think, 20,000 people a day or something.
Oh. So you can get turned down.
You could, but they'll tell you. And
well, I'm gonna try this. This is good.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I would try it. I actually would like to do it with my daughters because hers is going to expire next March, and but I don't think you can do it with kids under 16.
Well, yeah, that's okay. Good. Thank you for that tip. I think the whole family's you can renew early, right? You don't have to wait till the last
1 year. I think it's
1 year.
Maybe even more, but they recommend 1 year. They actually now send you alerts letting you know when it's been a year.
Okay.
But yeah,
I shall definitely take advantage of that. I'm glad we gave you one more tip. Thank you.
I appreciate you giving me one more.
Thank you. Have a great visit to Toronto and enjoy. Are you going home after Toronto or?
I am, but I'm going to be up in your neck of the woods in 3 weeks.
Oh, that's right. I was hoping we'd see you.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like it.
Don't wear your hoofs.
I think they're putting me up at the Montage.
Oh, I don't know where that is. It sounds fancy.
Healdsburg.
It's fake French.
The Healdsburg
the Montage is great. I know where the Montage is.
He knows what you're talking about.
I've always wanted to go
I was like, man, if Leo doesn't know about this hotel, then it's got to be bad. But I was like, all Montages
it's brand new. It's brand new.
Amazing.
Yeah. Everybody's raving about it. Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah, next month.
Well, maybe I'll come up and visit you. We can have a drink in the Montage bar.
All right. I will text you.
Okay, Montage.
How far is that from you? 20 minutes? 40 minutes?
Yeah, it's not very far. Half an hour, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the wine country.
My baby loves
It's a refined wine country retreat.
I don't even drink wine, so it's kind of a waste on me.
I don't either. Isn't that funny?
I've never been drunk in my life. I don't drink alcohol.
What?
Yeah.
Well, good for you, I guess. I guess.
Listen, I remember being 30 years ago, I was in a bar in Spain, Ibiza, and we met some girls, and they all bought a round for everyone. And I was like, I don't drink. And the girl looks at me. She's like, never trust a man that doesn't drink. And I was like,
never trust him to fall on his face.
That was a common refrain in college.
I don't get it.
Was it?
Yeah, a lot of people said that. Yeah.
Thank you, Johnny Jet. Neither Micah nor I drink, so it's a three of us.
I have drank.
I have drunk.
Drunk, yes, I have drunk, but I don't.
I don't like.
Well, we'll have some tea.
We'll have some tea. I'll come up for.
It's refined.
Come to Montage for some tea. Yeah. Thank you, Johnny Jet, travel guru.
Safe travels.
Take care.
See
you later.
Pulled the plug.
That's when you know you're done.
Yeah, that's equivalent to yanking the.
Yum. Yes, they are noticing, by the way, that we are now streaming on almost every platform we could find. This is a new feature that we decided to implement. using the Restream program we've been playing with. For a long time, we had a $30,000 box from Amazon. We still have it, called the Elemental, but it was $5,000 a year for maintenance, and we decided to stop doing that. That was what let us stream to a variety of places, but now Restream does it all through the web, and what it does is really cool is it allows us to stream onto platforms that we never streamed to before. So we are, of course, in our Club Twit Discord. We're on YouTube, as we have been, but we are also now on Kick. You can see us on X. Look, right at the top there. Ask the Tech Guys on X. 370 people watching.
Wow.
That's wonderful. Great to have you.
Only 50 of them are bots.
No, I think they're real people.
I'm kidding.
You can chat there with us. Also on Twitch TV. So hello to all those wonderful people chatting with us and watching in a variety of places. This is something we're trying out new.
I tried just chatting on Twitch. Does it actually post in my... No, it doesn't. That's good.
Oh, like on your Twitter feed?
Yeah. Posted on the Twitter feed. That'd be funny.
Well, because there aren't a huge number of people streaming, there I see. Hi, watchers.
Yeah.
I'll say, hi, Mikah. It's just us kids.
It's an exclusive little club.
All right, let's go on with more stuff.
And things.
We got a caller.
Hello, caller.
Or not, I mean...
oh, look.
Oh, I remember
Let's go to Montenegro. Hi, Vidak.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Are those blue blocking shades? Your glasses?
What are you talking about?
They look like they block blue
no.
light.
No, they're just regular... For people that can't see.
It looked like they had a light
Without
yellow
any
tint
extras.
to them.
My favorite kind of glasses.
Yeah, for people who can't see.
Well, I'm back with another problem. I seem to be in a such of something like a weird problems month.
It does seem to go that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it comes and goes.
Yeah, everything will go wrong.
Ebbs and flows.
Yeah. So what's the latest?
I'm usually good at solving my own tech problems, and now I feel insulted by my own tech that I have in the house because it keeps making problems. I sort of solved the mesh router thing.
Oh,
it still does.
We talked about that last week. Yeah.
Right. It still does weird things where my computer connects to the further node, but it's now a little faster in terms of internet speed. So even if it does jump to it, it doesn't crash my internet like it did last week. I don't know. The only thing I did is, I think it was you, Leo, who mentioned channels. I changed the channels on the router. Instead of, I don't know, channel 1, it now uses channel 4 to broadcast or something like that.
And that fixed the problem. That's weird.
No, well, it fixed it by about, a little bit, about 60%. I still can't figure out why my devices are connecting to the node that is...
all we promise is to solve 50% of your problems. So if you got 60%, you're ahead of the game.
50% of your problems, 50% of the time.
Yeah. So that's actually 25%. Yeah.
Right. But now I got a more serious problem, which is actually impeding with my job.
Yes.
That's not good. Microphone that is floating around here.
Wow, how are you doing that? Magic.
All right, yeah. Well, it doesn't do anything. It's not plugged in currently.
Oh.
The reason being is I'm using the Mac's internal mic to talk to you right now. I have a Scarlett. Right.
Yeah. So that microphone is a Shure SM58. It's a standard mic with a what they call a Canon plug. So you can't. The other end of that doesn't fit into anything on your Mac. So you have
it does into this.
It takes that's the Scarlett. It's a USB interface. So it takes a standard analog mic input, turns it into bits, and then sends it via USB cord into your Mac. You're saying your Scarlett's not working right now.
Well, it does work, but it's doing something weird, and I can't figure out what it is. I've talked to.
What does it sound like?
It does work, but periodically, it just for a second cuts out the entire sound.
Yeah.
The Mac freezes for like a split second.
The Mac
and then it's back again.
And that's why you're losing the sound, because the Mac is.
And what's the interface? Did I miss that part?
It's a Scarlett Focusrite.
2i2.
So it's actually what we use or used to use for a long time. We still use it. Is that familiar to you, John? Because we send this out to many of our hosts. They're using not the Shure, but our Heil microphones. Same idea though. It's plugged into the Scarlett, the Focusrite.
Here's why sorry, go ahead.
Which is then plugged into a Mac in most cases via USB. We've not seen that happen.
Right.
That's interesting.
Here's the weird thing. It doesn't do it on any other computer I tried. I have a 2013 MacBook, which is now, well, not working. Rest in peace, old Mac. But it never did that. And I also tried it on a Windows PC. It works just fine. It's only when I plug it into my M2 MacBook Pro that it does that.
Okay.
I've tried it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, let me ask you a couple of questions here. Firstly,
yes.
Do you have any audio-related software on your Mac? So things like Loopback or other products from Rogue Amoeba, thank you. Audio Hijack. Do you have anything like Boom? Do you have
Audio Hijack? Yes, but it's not running currently.
Right. So Audio Hijack. What I would recommend doing is, if it depends on how often you launch it. If you haven't launched it in a while, launch it and run a software update to make sure that the latest version of that audio engine is installed.
There's something running in the background all the time.
That I think is doing something. The other thing that I recommend checking, because this has been an issue for me in the past, I imagine that you're very well versed with Spotlight. When you launch Spotlight, type in audio, MIDI, audio MIDI, to find the audio MIDI setup app.
This is an app that's on every Mac that no one
knows about. And it can help you solve audio problems, and often helps me solve my audio problems. On the bar on the left, you'll find that Scarlett interface, and select it. And this is just a kind of troubleshooting thing. Under the format portion, just try different formats. So it may be set to 48K hertz. It may be set to 96K hertz. Just try it at different levels and see if that does anything. Because again, there could be something in the background that is trying to interpret the audio that's coming in. It's causing the Mac to stop for a second because it's having trouble understanding what you're sending to it. And then you can also try removing it from audio MIDI setup, unplugging it, plugging it back in to kind of reboot its connection to that Mac. These are just some troubleshooting steps that you can try taking that I've done in the past to help when I've had an audio issue.
Yeah, something's running in the background. I think that's what's going on. And it's...
I've tried most of it.
Yeah.
Most of it, what you just said.
Do you use
also audio...
Good.
Audio Hijack has only been installed recently. I've been having problems with this thing for about, almost a year now. It went away for a little while because with Focusrite's help, I discovered that I don't know what that's called, but when you plug in a new device and your Mac asks you, are you sure you want to allow this device to connect to your Mac? I don't know what that's called. We found that it messes with even if I say yes, it messes with the connection periodically. But now that's been off, so that's not the issue. And for some reason, it started really messing with it about 10 days ago. I mean, I've gone as far as unplugging it to be able to talk to you guys.
How do you plug it in? Do you plug it directly into your Mac? Do you plug it into a dock? How is it plugged in?
I plug it into, it's plugged in via where's the camera? Via a...
USB-C.
USB-C, yeah. It's just
directly into the side of your Mac?
Right.
Okay.
And I've also tried using adapters and using its original cable, and it does not.
And it's still doing it?
Want to do it.
That was going to be my next question. If it was
And Apple said, and here, Apple engineer, if there's any Apple engineer listening currently, do not tell people that they should go out and get a new device just because you don't want to.
He said, get a new computer?
No, he said get a new
Scarlet.
Splitting box, he called it.
Oh, it's not a splitter. It's he didn't even understand what it does.
That's bad advice.
Yeah. So, I don't think could be the Scarlet, but I don't think it's a Scarlet, especially since your Mac's freezing. I think it's some software running on the Mac.
Yeah.
How do you know what kernel extensions or whatever are loading? Is there a way to know that?
Yeah, there is.
Or even temporarily not load it, like hold down the shift key when you boot or something?
So in newer versions of Mac OS, it's all via the terminal. And so what you need to do to access that stuff is, I forgot. You can also go into System Report. If you, Yeah. So
it'll show you what's running.
Once again, if you go into System Settings, System Information is what they call it now. It used to be called System Report.
Is that the one that's under the Apple?
Yeah, and they used to be there.
And it was about this Mac, but now they've moved it.
Yeah, now they moved it. So all you need to do is use Spotlight and type in System Info, and that'll pop up System Information. And then you scroll down to Software, and you choose Extensions. And that will load all of the extensions that are part of the system. You can see which ones are loaded currently and which ones are not. And unfortunately, there's not a menu that says, just show me the Apple ones or just don't show me the Apple ones. So you kind of have to scroll through to find out what's there. But the best way, I think, to do it is by using Terminal. And so if you use Terminal, I've got to remember what the Terminal command is now. Let me see. It is... it's... KEXT stat, kext stat.
Those are kernel extensions, and then it's the stats on that.
Yep. Okay. So if you go into Terminal and you type that in, kext stat, that will give you the information that you need to what kernel or what extensions are currently running. Unfortunately, you have to boot into safe mode in order to disable or enable third-party extensions.
But you can do that.
But you can do it.
Safe mode would also... If it didn't happen in safe mode, then you would know it was a kernel extension that was doing this. And by the way, Burke, who is responsible for getting everybody on the air, he tests everybody.
What's his advice?
Says SpinRight's site is excellent. The support there is very good. So you could check there. They have forums, but I think you nailed it. I think there's something on the Mac that's running in the background.
I think so too. Especially because it's working on other Macs and it's not working on this. That tells me that there's got to be something that this Mac is doing specifically that's causing the issue.
Right.
So we've given you some troubleshooting ideas. I wish we had a just straight up solution for you. I'm sorry that we don't.
We got you 50% of the way. That's our job.
Yeah. I'll do the rest. Here's the interesting thing. Focusrite is blaming Apple's generic audio driver.
I don't think so.
People that we know,
everybody that we know uses it,
and they're fine.
Yeah.
So it's not that. It can't be that.
Even on these newer Macs.
Yeah, we've got
everybody, all of our hosts.
Paul Thurrott, he's using a newer MacBook.
Yeah,
and
Paris
uses the Scarlet. Paris.
So I'm pretty sure that it's not.
It's not that it can't be. I don't think it's a generic audio driver.
It's something that's trying to capture that USB audio.
Yeah, I really do feel.
And that's why Audio Hijack Pro is a good guess. That sounds very likely.
I mean, the only other audio-related program that I have is Audition.
Yeah. Oh, and you did say that this issue had cropped up before you installed Audio Hijack on the machine.
Right.
That's the only thing that suggests that it's something else.
It started doing it right as I set up the Mac for the first time. So
here's a question: when you did it on the older Mac, That older Mac did not have USB-C, did it? It had you had to do it with a USB-A cable, didn't you?
Right.
I'm the
That's
only
correct.
thing is it possible, and this is probably kind of a goofy thing. Could the USB-C cable that you're using, because what is it on the back of the Focus, right? It's C?
It's USB-C. Yeah.
Oh, never mind then. I was thinking maybe there was way too much power being sent to it or something that was causing it to cycle.
I think you nailed it with the Rogue Amoeba. I really do. I think there's something running there. By the way, that's one reason whenever I set up a new Mac, I always create a second administrator account that I don't use. I call it Ghost.
Oh, nice.
Because it's the ghost in the machine. And I never use it for this reason exactly. When you install these kinds of things, you're installing them per user almost always. I mean, not necessarily, but a lot of the things that can get you in trouble on a Mac might be local to your user account. So logging out of your user account into this unused administrator account, sometimes if that fixes the problem, then all right, it's something I did in my profile that I want to fix. So it's one of the first things I do, every time I set up.
Okay.
So thank you, Vidak. It's very great to see you again. I don't have the hat with me, but
that's all right.
I have
it. It's good to talk to you guys. Yeah.
I'll talk to you too.
Yeah.
Take care, my friend.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
And we are out of time for this episode of Ask the Tech Guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We're so glad you came along for the ride. And we welcome all our new streaming viewers on all those many platforms. I hope you'll come back next Sunday. We do the show in the morning, our time, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific. That's 2 to 5 East Coast time. 1800 UTC. The live streams are, as I said, youtube.com/twit/live, but also twitch.tv in the Twit channel, Kick in the Twit channel. You could find us on X. You could find us on Discord, and I'm sure there's other places that I've forgotten. A lot of places.
Lots of places you can now get in touch.
So watch us live. The reason you might want to watch us live is because we take live calls at 888-724-2884. But if you're watching this after the fact, you can still call that number and leave a message.
Indeed. Yeah. Anytime during the week, leave a message. We'll be able to play it back. You can get in touch with us through our email as well. We'd love to hear from you and answer your questions. Thanks so much.
I guess that's all we have to say. Make sure you join the club. We thank our Club Twit members for making the show possible. If you're not yet a member, choose your price. Anything above $7 at twit.tv/clubtwit. I really want to make it possible for people to join for $1. We would lose money if you joined for $1, but it would you'd still be a member.
If the people that have already joined continue, then we wouldn't lose money, right?
Right. No, I'm just saying, I think that that Patreon takes a cut.
Oh, I see.
So if you joined at $1, I think we'd probably, between the credit card and Memberful, which is the Patreon company, we probably wouldn't make any money. But hey, join.
But you're there.
And that's the main thing. We want you to be in the club. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time. I'm Leo Laporte.
I'm Micah Sargent.
Catch him on Tech News Weekly this Thursday. You took 4th of July off, I noticed. That's okay.
Yeah.
Did you see fireworks?
No.
We didn't either. You can also catch him on iOS Today. Every other Tuesday with Rosemary Orchard and
Hands on Mac in the club.
Yeah, and me, I'm here and there. You just keep watching.
If you just keep your eyes open, you'll see them.
Me. I go streaking by. Thanks for joining us, and have a great Geek Week.
Bye bye.